And
So are we, oh, we are? Okay,
Yep.
So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna read paragraph by paragraph just like Creepy Wuzzle?
Well, these paragraphs are shorter than freaking, I don't know a good metaphor, but they're short.
Okay,
That's my point, they're short. So I feel like we should read like 2 paragraphs at a time, maybe?
Alright, 2 paragraphs. You can start.
Alright. I'm sure everybody knows about Charlie Brown. If you haven't seen the program on television at some point, you have caught the VHS tapes that float around bargain bins in the United States.
Oh my god, I freaking laughed like forget your face there. I didn't mean that. Oh my god.
Well, we're off to a great start. We already have an amazing... You have. If not that, you might have seen it in a classroom, as teachers love to show the family-friendly television programming to their students. It was in late August of 2013 that I came across a particularly strange episode of The Charlie Brown Show in a VHS slipcase that was for It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, a Halloween episode many people are familiar with.
Alright. It was in my grandparents' attic, which I found while I was staying in their home in Minneapolis. I heard that Charles Schultz, creator of Peanuts, grew up in Minneapolis, just a few miles from the summer home. The actual VHS inside the tape... What do you mean, VHS inside the tape?
Yeah, what does that mean? The VHS is the tape. How do you have the... saying the tape inside of the tape?
Okay. The VHS inside of the case, which I think he was going for, was blank and very old, with a marker scrolling, "It, GPCB, take 2, and some Japanese or Chinese characters.
Wait a minute. I have Japanese or Chinese characters. Those 2 different languages look very different. And then how do you know it's not Vietnamese or Korean?
Yeah. Beneath that, wait, what? And some Japanese or Chinese characters beneath that which seem to have been printed out of some strange ink block. What's strange is that whoever had drawn a pumpkin and apple blossom tree beneath those letters had signed it with the initials TD.
Tommy Dissot.
Yeah, Tommy Dissot.
After some research...
Charlie Brown.
Yeah. After some research, I found that there were no people in or around Warner Brothers of any, or any of the other associated companies that would have worked in this episode with those initials. Are you kidding me? Warner Brothers is a gigantic company, and you're telling me not a single person... You're telling me that not a single person in all of Warner Brothers had the initials TD.
Oh my god.
And then even then, how do you know that's the initials of... How do you know that's the initials of the people who made it? They could be the initials of anything. It all seemed kind of strange. I posted on a few forums about the episode, but got no responses to what the episode could be about.
Oh boy.
I don't own a VHS to digital video converter, so there was no way to put the episode onto the computer. At least you spell computer right, not like the other people who say commuter.
Commuter.
Weirdly enough, the real title was, "It's Your First Kiss, Charlie Brown." Many of those VHS tapes had promos for other shows at the beginning, but this looked like some kind of rough cut. I heard the usual Peanuts theme as Charlie Brown walked out of his house with a baseball cap on. So this seems a little odd about the show, as some weird black lines that looked like spider legs had spiraled up from the corners of the screen. What?
Okay.
What?
Okay. It was very distracting, but I assumed maybe this episode was meant to start as a dream sequence, as the sky was orange.
Yeah, the sky's never orange. Sunsets and sunrises don't happen. Those aren't real. That's the Illuminati globalists covering up the chemtrails with their glowing lights.
The camera crawls up and moves to the right in a very jerky and forced manner, as the huge... excuse me, is that Mate or Matt?
I have no idea.
Let's just go with a Mate, because there's the silent E at the end. Painting that animators used was being forcibly moved out of frame. Snoopy was at 1/3 transparency, eating a bag of peanuts.
1/3 transparency. I went into Photoshop and measured how much the transparency was.
Yeah. He was eating a bag of peanuts. He looks, not past, he looked really nauseated, as though there's something in his water bowl that's making him ill.
I don't like to put chemicals in the water. Turns freaking Snoopy gay.
The little bird, I don't remember its name.
You mean Woodstock? Why couldn't you just look it up when you were writing this?
It's seen laying on the floor with its legs in the air. I thought it might have been dead, which would have been bizarre, but one leg was twitching spasmodically.
Someone owns a thesaurus.
As the camera cut to Snoopy carving
Snoopy
a
is not capitalized.
Where the fuck did it come from when he was carving a pumpkin? Where the fuck did that come from? There was a serious graphicness. Graphicness to the pumpkin carving, which seemed more stylized than the usual simple animation style.
Snoopy carved a pumpkin to resemble Charlie Brown's head and then put a candle inside the pumpkin. The video stopped there, froze, and heard the Peanuts theme playing, but several keys were being hit wrong. I myself am a professional pianist. You're everything, aren't you? You're just all sorts of things. You're a freaking prodigy. And I can tell that many of the notes were being hit a few notes over for some reason. You have to be a professional pianist to know that those notes are being hit. This is stupid.
Oh my god.
It didn't seem intentional. Snoopy carved a cut into Charlie Brown's face and put a candle inside and left the pumpkin there. Wait, I'm gonna scroll up. Didn't this guy said he was something else at the beginning?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he did. But
no? Oh, he didn't. Okay.
But that's still ridiculous. Why would you need to bring that up? It's like basically going, yeah, I'm an astrophysicist. I know that gravity exists. Like.
No, you would know that it was invented by Isaac Walton. Right?
Yep. All right.
All right, moving on.
So where was I?
You're a time lapse.
A time lapse showed the pumpkin slowly withering, rotting, decaying, and dying. That's a lot of words to describe the exact same thing.
Aren't rotting and decaying the same thing?
Withering, rotting, and decaying are the same thing. So that's a lot of words that you could use, that you could basically sum up in just one of those words.
Yeah.
As the candle burned away Charlie Brown's facial features, leaving a skeletal pumpkin.
What?
Excuse me, but I don't think pumpkins have skeletons.
What?
I guess I can't knock that. He's a professional pianist, and not a professional biologist.
Yeah.
That soon became covered in flies and rotted down to nothing.
Okay. The next scene just showed Charlie Brown heading to school down the linear path as though the last scene hadn't happened. Excuse me. Excuse me. Think I might be getting creepy wuzzle.
Oh no, you're getting creepy wuzzle. Your wuzzles are getting creeped.
Yeah. Charlie Brown was missing a shoe and his leg was brown colored. It was a very specific detail that I noticed.
It was a very specific detail that I noticed.
Yeah. What's weird is that he knocks at the front door of the school before he's invited in. I've never heard of someone knocking.
Whoa, so unusual. Knocking doors, you see. See, I get that it's a little weird that he's knocking to enter school, but why is that a detail you find weird enough to point out?
Yeah. Oh boy. Should I read the?
I'll just read the lines of dialogue. Charlie Brown sits down next to Linus Van Pelt. Linus Van Pelt, and takes out a brown paper bag lunch. All of a sudden, Charlie Brown's eyes grow exceptionally wide. There she is.
There she is.
There he is. The kicking Santa cool guy's face. He says, the girl with the red hair. Indeed, Charlie Brown's school crush is one of the major plot points the show addressed. You're calling a character a plot point? You're mistaking plot points and characters. Characters can serve the function of a plot point, but you would generally not call a major character a plot point.
Yeah.
In what plot? Charlie Brown barely has a substantial plot other than bad stuff happens in Charlie Brown's life.
Yeah.
Alright. I bet one day, Charlie Brown started, I'll go up to her and approach her. Going up to someone and approaching them are basically the same thing. And I'll do something that impresses her, and she'll kiss me. Little cartoon hearts bubbled up and around Charlie Brown while he held his hands together and leaned into them, smiling. Alright, you could read the next two from here.
Alright. He looked a little off. Linus was holding his blanket, but there was a picture of the United States scrawled in on it for some reason.
What the hell? What the fuck?
Nationalistic scum. I don't know, Charles. Men, well, boys in our case, shouldn't romanticize such things.
Don't romanticize romance. Next, you're gonna start romanticizing other things that aren't romance.
Yeah. What's weird is that I never heard anyone refer to Charlie Brown as Charles. What are you talking about? Like, a Peppermint Patty does that all the time. What do you mean you don't know anyone who refers to Charlie Brown as Charles? You've never watched the show then. You're not a very good reporter.
Well, to be fair, he never heard of anybody referring to Charlie Brown as Charles because he never watched the show, so technically he's not lying.
Yeah, well, he is a professional pianist, so he has other stuff to do.
He doesn't have time to watch Charlie Brown.
The red-haired girl crossed the room in kind of a ghastly manner as Charlie Brown opened his paper bag lunch, which contained a peanut butter sandwich with peanuts. And a stylized drawing of George Washington Carver, inventor of the peanut.
Oh, this is some student bloopers shit. George Washington Carver did not invent peanut butter. George Washington Carver was the guy who was a famous peanut farmer who... And how do you have a highly stylized drawing of George Washington Carver on the cover? What do you mean the cover? It's a sandwich! Inventor of the peanut butter!
Charlie Brown seems
the
a little...
peanut butter! The peanut butter!
The peanut butter. Oh my god. Charlie Brown seemed a little different in the next scene. He looked a little grizzled, like grippage. Maybe slightly older. He has some dust on his face that looked kind of like beard stuff.
Oh, it's my favorite episode. Charlie Brown goes to prison. The room is full of puddles and puddles of water, and there are dead flies everywhere. Your sentence tenses are severely messed up through half the story. You can't seem to decide if you want this to be in past tense or present tense, and this should be in past tense.
Yeah.
The plants near the window are dead too. Charlie Brown walks up to his teacher and the usual brass noises are made, but Charlie couldn't understand them. What? He said to the sound of the off-key trumpet or trombone. Indeed, Charlie couldn't understand. I think I have some kind of learning difficulty, Charlie said, looking at his shoes sadly. Yeah, that's tasteful.
Welcome to social language.
Alright, your turn.
Pigpen walked up. She said that something's in the water. Something in the water is making everyone ill, and we need to drink this bottled water for the next 2 weeks.
I don't like to put chemicals in the water. Turns the freaking teachers.
Yay. What's weird is that at the same time of peanut syndication, bottled water is not even in circulation yet.
Is that true? I actually don't think that's true.
That's not true. The label was specifically drawn, but it looked kind of like a Zephyr Hills bottle.
No, it's Volvic. It's Volvic.
Hello, Charlie Brown. I'm filling my water with volcanicity.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened sometime in this story.
Yeah. Charlie Brown went into a shed with broken windows and took out a notebook. He had seen the girl with the red hair drop in that morning, but he couldn't get in close enough to reach her.
His heart skipped a beat when he read what was written. June 24th, 1967. There's a boy at school that I find really handsome. I think his name is Charlie. I saw him smile at me from across the cafeteria. I want nothing more than to hug him and maybe plant my lips on him and he could smell my hair while I dash. All of a sudden, there was some kind of loud bang. It was the sound of a rock hitting the shed. What are you doing in there? It was Lucy. I guess that all the kids are supposed to be playing football as Lucy was shown squeezing a football. Hurry up, you fuss budget, she yelled. You fuck nugget.
Fuck Nugget.
Wait, I want to read this. What's weird is that a grown Asian businessman is shown walking in the background. For what I know in the show, about the show, you never saw the adult characters' heads, so it confused to be something terrible. The grown Asian man started to talk as the brass started up, and the camera immediately cut to the right of the screen as the kids were playing football.
Excuse me.
So why is it just a random Asian businessman here? What does this add to the story?
China.
What does this add to the story?
I don't know.
Alright, you can read.
Alright. Lucy lined up the football for Charlie Brown to kick it. This was a common gag.
Water is wet. No shit, Sherlock. Everybody knows that fucking gag. You don't need to bring that up. You don't need to fucking... You don't need to fucking tell me the sky is blue. You don't need to fucking tell me grass is green. It's just fucking common knowledge that that's a common gag in the show, so you don't even need to fucking bring it up.
Okay, ready. Charlie Brown ran toward the football just as Lucy would pull it out and continued to run into the field. What are you doing, Charlie Brown? Linus yelled. He saw the red-haired girl climbing onto a bus on the way out of the field. He chased her across the field just as the bus pulled away, leaving him there, alone. No one was even there, Charlie Brown, Linus said.
Spooky.
Charlie sighed. Lucy had thrown a rock at his head rather hard. I guess she did get the satisfaction of pulling the football away.
Ow! Charlie cried, and blood began to drip down his head. What is that?
More blood!
Yelled Linus. Evidently, none of the characters in the Peanuts universe seemed to know what blood was. Are you fucking kidding me? Charlie put his hand over the wound as Lucy opened a first aid kit to find nothing inside. The next scene showed Charlie Brown's head stitched shut with what looked like the same stitches used on baseballs. How the fuck can you tell it's simplistic animation? I have to find that red-haired girl, Charlie said. I'm running out of time.
Alright. He looked at his wrist watch, which appeared to be drawn on with the time of 8:16 a.m. There was a shot of Snoopy as the Red Baron, but here he was in a B-29 bomber for some reason. What do you mean a B-29 bomber?
You see, he's a professional pianist, but he also knows his planes, because he played a piano in a B-29 bomber one time, so...
Yeah. The next shot was all of the kids at the school dance. Charlie was fumbling from within the crowd, trying to get to the red-haired girl. She was turned around. She was turned around behind the fruit punch bowl. I'm gonna approach her, Charlie said. Linus was holding a massive occult...
He's a Satanist! He's a Satanist! Linus is a New World Order globalist Illuminati Satanist! He's been putting all the chemicals in the water! I think I figured it out, Charlie, he said, sucking his thumb. There's a demon from Japanese folklore called the Yukiona.
Oh my god!
This demon takes the form of what you want the most. Okay, so basically there's Japanese demons in Charlie Brown now. Charlie didn't seem to be listening. And once it finds you, Charlie walked up to the girl at the fruit punch and circled around her, but she kept turning around. He couldn't get a view of her face. Don't touch her, Charlie Brown, his childhood friend screamed, but Charlie wasn't listening. It's just a projection of your own mind, Charles. It's something that you think you want and it will kill you. Shot of Linus going up to another grown Asian man was shown.
This time, as he talked, I heard the off-kilter brass. It slowly began to roll backward, as if what do you mean backward? If an orchestra was getting into tune. I heard the words, "I have become death, destroyer of worlds," as an explosion rocked the building and bright lights shot outside. I guess it was meant to be fireworks.
How fucking stupid are you? How fucking stupid are you? They say, "I have become death, destroyer of worlds," and then a big explosion happens. How fucking stupid are you? That's obviously a fucking nuke.
Fireworks. There was a fruit punch ball. There was fruit punch all over the floor, but it looked like blood. Charlie Brown tripped on it and fell, and you could see a halo as he slid through the door before the tape popped and recut. Now Charlie was running through a field which was unfamiliar to anyone that I remembered seeing on the show.
The field is a person. The field is a person. You refer to the field as anyone. That field is a person, apparently.
He chased the red-haired girl way out into the field, while pictures of feet, hair, broken light bulbs, skulls...
Wow, he really has a foot fetish, and a hair fetish, and a broken light bulb fetish, and a skull fetish, and a baseball bat fetish.
That's more than my Splatoon fetish. and baseball bats were carved into the trees. The trees became more and more narrow, representing a hallway after a while, and Charlie had to squeeze through. There was what could have been blood, fruit punch, or some other foreign material.
Foreign material? Foreign! Like the globalists!
Foreign, which Charlie became completely covered in as he chased the girl with red hair through a snowy area. You can read now if you want.
I don't have much time, he thought. I'm getting old. I have to get that kiss. I have to reach her. I have to... He chased the red-haired girl through the snow before realizing he was lost in a forest outside of wherever the town of Peanuts was supposed to be.
The town of Peanuts.
Charlie's eyes widened heavily and disturbingly as the picture distorted now. They widened and widened, becoming more intense, like silly putty pressed to a Peanuts comic strip, being slowly twisted and contorted to match someone's warped image. They wiggled and wavered as though they were underwater as he came to a steep cliff overlooking a lake. There was a red wig stuck to a bloodied stump. Chased the beautiful red-haired girl before she turned around, revealing two bright demonic red eyes, which pierced through the low-quality editing of the Peanuts tape before she fell backward, down into the water as Charlie tried to grab her shoulder. This is some Ghost Adventures shit, glowing red eyes, dude. You're gonna find an EVP.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown the Kissless, that's his name now. And Charlie Brown the Kissless and Broken dove into the shallow pool in an attempt to resuscitate what he thought was her. He dove deep.
Resuscitate.
He dove deep down into the water, pulling her up as she coughed up water and blood. Hey, it could have been fruit punch or some other foreign material.
Yeah.
Even though she was unconscious, and as he went to kiss her, she rode back in horror like a deer in the headlights. Was he so abhorrent a creature? Someone owns a thesaurus. He withdrew and then went in again, lip pressed to lip as he blew into her lungs, sending her coughing up blood. Hey, it could be fruit punch or some other foreign material.
Or some other foreign material.
As she became conscious, she kissed him, and they both kissed in there for hours on end, it seemed, as the time-lapse showed hours passing, and apple blossoms falling from the nearby trees. Alright, you can read now. Fuck this.
Alright. Bright lights that stunned their eyes exploded in the background. I thought it was the end of this bizarre episode as the screen faded, but the final shot was more stylized with a very realistic "Have you seen me?" drawing stuck to a poster on the wall of the school with a picture of Charlie Brown on it. "We don't go missing like this," Linus said with a sigh. "It doesn't just happen. I just want to know what happened to my best friend." A shot of flashlights resembling a search party took up the final few segments of the shot before the camera zoomed through the trees to a lake. It was a shot of a toothless Charlie Brown laying there.
No, that's just Wild Bill. Bald, toothless, same person.
Yeah, yeah, frozen blue, dead. Probably Skunky Kong killed him.
Oh, Jack, after we finish this, I have to tell you about a new in-joke that came up yesterday that is like Skunky Tom.
Oh, Skunky Tom, Skunky Tom. His teeth were so buried in some rotten carved-up stump with red hairs around it. His shirt was torn. There were visible lacerations around his neck. There were X's in his eyes, but not cartoon X's. They looked like ... stitches. Dirty Brown.
Spooky! Oh, it's so spooky!
Dirty Brown. Dirty Brown leaves surrounded him. In his hands was a rippled heart Valentine card, and in his heart there was there was nothing. The end.
Alright, let's give our critical analysis of this story.
Utter garbage.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. How do you think this could have been better?
I don't know.
I think it would have been better if they never wrote it, but that's just me.
Yeah. They can't go on with it. Oh, boy.
So, this has been Sir Throckmorton and Jacktropolis' Creepypasta story time. Next time, we will read one about Sonic the Hedgehog. Ooh, about a spooky lost episode of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
It sucks. Alright. Bye-bye.
Alright. Bye.